Hey everybody, this is Preston Stewart with Onyx Coffee Lab, and today we're going to talk about what do I do with cacao nibs. First of all, cacao, while it's related to coffee, it's not coffee, so it doesn't really work too well if you put it in your coffee grinder and try and brew it. So there's one little tidbit. Cacao is it's like the precursor to chocolate. So that's primarily what it's used for, but we also can use it in a lot of different ways for ingredients, in sweet things, savory things. Today we're gonna be turning it into a cocktail component. So we're gonna be making Crème de Cacao. These are the Ecuador Costa Esmeraldas cacao nibs. You can kind of use them interchangeably. These ones are a little bit more developed in the roast, so they have more of a chocolatey, cocoa forward profile as opposed to a little bit fruitier profile that the Tanzania cacao nibs or the Peruvian ones are a little bit more nutty and floral. So they can all be used, but these ones, in my opinion, are the best for making a nice deep chocolatey creme de cacao. So in this box, you've got 10 ounces. Today we're gonna use 4 ounces of cacao nibs and 12 ounces of vodka. So 1-to-3 ratio, if you're thinking of it from a coffee perspective. So I've already got some here that I pulled out of the box, and essentially what we're gonna do is put nibs in a vessel, add vodka, and then you just gotta wait. So it's about a week for steeping to extract the flavor out of the cacao. And then I made some last week that were used to make a chocolate cocktail. So let's get started. So first of all, we're gonna need 4 ounces of cacao. So 4 ounces of cacao. This is in grams, so let me do some quick math. About 120 grams. And I'm gonna add that to a vessel that I can just let it steep in over the week. So, and then just any nice quality vodka. You probably don't want to use anything bottom shelf because you'll get that like ethanol burn. This is a local one here in Rogers. This is 80 proof, which most vodkas are. It works a little bit better actually if you use a higher 100 proof vodka. There's a couple versions out there in the market. The reason why is the higher alcohol content will extract the flavor compounds and the oils a little bit better than the lower proof, just because it's more alcohol, less water. But this will work totally fine. And another reason is at the end, when we turn it into creme de cacao, we're gonna sweeten it with simple syrup. So you'll end up with a little bit higher proof after dilution at the end of the steeping if you use 100 proof vodka. So we're gonna use 12 ounces of vodka. And I did the nibs by weight, but I'm just doing the alcohol by volume. So there's really no technique or special way to do this. It's essentially combining your ingredients and waiting. So there is step 1. So cocoa nibs, vodka, and now you wait. It's best to come back to it every day or every other day and just kind of agitate it and shake it around. Essentially, you're just wanting to increase the surface area so that if there's any like sediment that's not getting extracted, just kind of work it into the solution. So there's that. We'll set that aside, and via the magic of television, I did this last week as well. So what you want to do after you've got this is essentially chocolate vodka at this point. It's not creme de cacao because it's not sweetened. You'll just want to strain off the cocoa nibs so you can see how it settles, and it's made it nice and brown as you would expect. You can do this same infusion technique with a lot of different alcohols. I've done it with bourbon. It's great. It's good with anything with a little bit of natural sweetness. So bourbon, rum, brandy, any of those are nice. Vodka's good because it just is kind of a blank canvas, so you can use it for, you don't get any spirit flavor, you just get the chocolate flavor from the nibs. I wouldn't recommend it with gin. The herbal botanicalness of gin and cacao, I haven't found that they make very good drinks. So now we've got our chocolate vodka. And then what I'm gonna do here is measure it out, see how much I have. I started with 12 ounces. Because some of it absorbs into the cacao nibs, you're gonna lose a little bit. So I'm down to just under 10 ounces, so you lose a little bit. Now what you'll wanna do is make a 50-50 dilution with simple syrup. So this is simple syrup that I made yesterday. It's 50-50 by weight. So I did 200 grams of sugar, 200 grams of water, and that will give you a nice, the proper bricks, the sugar content in the water. So you're essentially gonna take your 80 proof vodka, mix it half and half. So you'll have a 40 proof or 20% strength spirit at the end, or liqueur. So just find a vessel that will contain it. This just happened to be laying around. If you have an empty vodka bottle or empty something bottle, you can use that just fine. So just a bunch of pouring in this little brew guide. Oh, so you want to measure out the same volume of your simple syrup. So I was just under 10 ounces. So good math. So now you've got a nice chocolatey but pretty sweet creme de cacao. Or you could fool people and say it's toddy. I wouldn't promote such a thing. So now that we have our primary ingredient for our cocktail, there's a lot of popular chocolate-based cocktails. Chocolate martini is kind of the classic one. You could also do a brandy Alexander. Yeah, there's a lot of options, but just to keep it simple and classic, we're just gonna make a quick and easy chocolate cocktail or chocolate martini for this video. So 3 ingredients: creme de cacao, vodka straight up, and half and half. So it's a very easy cocktail to make. All you need is a shaker, a jigger, a strainer, and then your finished glass. So you can kind of adjust the strength of it depending on how boozy you want it or how sweet you want it. What I like to do is 2 ounces of creme de cacao. So that's the full big side of the jigger. And then both 1.5 of vodka and 1.5 of half and half. And then you could also make a lot of different variants of this chocolate martini, like throw in some creme de menthe if you want a mint chocolate, maybe a couple dashes of like a spicy liqueur if you want a spicy chocolate. So it's kind of a base cocktail that can be turned into a lot of different things. Add some ice, pop the top, shaky. And you want to go until the outside of the shaker gets kind of frosty cold. Pop the top back off. And then if you want to, you can garnish your glass with a little bit of chocolate sauce or something like that. I'm just gonna go straight up. It's got this nice pale brown color, and you could dust it with cocoa powder or a couple sprinkles of chocolate shavings. Just depends on how fancy you want to get with it, but there you go. There's a classic chocolate martini. Pretty simple, pretty tasty. Cheers and day drinking. Enjoy. It's pretty good. Chocolate Dad signing off.